Get started. We're going to have the Spanish speakers change to the Spanish channel, and we'll do it in English, and then we'll go from there. So vamos a empezar la sesión. So vamos, señora María, en su pantalla ve el icono del mundo que está abajo que dice interpretación. Si le hace clic ahí y escoja español, y ahí va a estar nuestra compañera María que le va a poder dar interpretación al español. Muchas gracias. All right, guys, we're going to get started just to be conscious of time. So thank you for coming. We're going to do the session in English, but there's always interpretation for our Spanish speakers. So I see there's a new parent, so let me just say that in Spanish just in case. Bienvenidos a todos, gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Si necesita interpretación al español, por favor hágale clic al icono del mundo que ve en pantalla y elija español para escuchar a nuestra compañera María dar la interpretación al español. All right, give me a second as I bring up my screen. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today as the expert session. My name is Berenice Pan. I'm part of the FACE team with Chicago Public Schools. And today we're going to have a conversation with Miguel and Susana, part of our CPS team. Remember, this session is going to be recorded and we're going to put it up in our YouTube channel so that you can see it later or you can share with other parents who are not able to make it today. As always, the chat is open. So as we go through the presentation, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat and then we'll open it just to have a conversation and answer as many questions as we can throughout the presentation today. These are some of our next sessions that we have. We're going to have some SEL sessions on Monday. We have our Department of ODLSS, Special Education, Diverse Learners coming on Wednesday. We're shooting our North Star program, which is computer basics. So for anybody that wants to get certified, please join that. And then we're going to continue with our ISAC team, who's going to be talking about post-secondary. And you can see there the different languages the sessions will be offered. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us in this session. Bienvenidos a todos si acaban de entrar. Si necesitan interpretación al español, por favor, háganle clic al icono del mundo que ven en pantalla. Elijan español para poder escuchar a nuestra compañera María dar la interpretación en español. Again, today we're going to be talking about college and career support for our undocumented students. And we have two really amazing guests, part of the CPS team. We have Susana and Miguel. Susana and Miguel, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to let you both introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you. Susana?
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Susana Mares, and I'm the new Undocumented Champion Program Manager with CPS. It's a very new role in CPS, and we're very excited for the creation of this role. And we know it's taken quite some time to get here. So it's very exciting times, making history. We'll have a chance to talk a little bit more about how this role came to be. Just a little bit about myself. I am from the south side of Chicago. My family is from Aguascalientes, Mexico. Grew up in Little Village as the first part of my childhood. And when I started high school, we moved over to the area of West Lawn. So I did attend CPS schools from kindergarten up until high school, graduated from John F. Kennedy High School, and later attended Northeastern Illinois University, where I got my bachelor's in English. Later got my degree in my master's for higher education leadership. Had a chance to work with Gear Up Chicago for many, many years through different positions. Very exciting time serving families and post-secondary readiness. And so had a chance to work at Farragut Career Academy in the South Side as well, which is where I met my colleague here, Miguel, and we worked alongside through those times as well. So very excited to be here. Thank you again for having us, and I'll pass it on to my colleague.
Gracias, Susana. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Miguel Salcedo. My name is Miguel Salcedo. I'm the Director of Post-Secondary Strategic Interventions for the Office of School Counseling and Post-Secondary Advising. What my job entails is that I manage university partnerships, as well as I supervise or oversee a lot of the student support services for our priority groups. So those are African-American males, Latino males, undocumented students, EL students, pretty much a whole list of other priority groups that we have. Originally from Little Village, I still live here, born and raised. And I also attended a few different high schools, starting with Cristo Rey, Fergus, Holy Trinity. Went to Champaign for my undergrad and master's and PhD. And yeah, now I serve in this role, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you, Beta, for organizing all of this. And feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or recommendations, suggestions, how we can collaborate, anything that we can do to support our parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Susana, Miguel, appreciate it. And now if you can present, not sure which one of you guys is going to present your deck. Okay, Susana, so we'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Parents, please remember throughout the presentation, if you have a question, please utilize the chat so that we can read them and answer. It's okay if you write it in Spanish. Yo hablo español, así es que no hay problema.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. So once again, today's conversation will consist of very short, want to keep it easy. We know that there's a lot of information, but we want to make sure that we provided you more so with just a few resources available, some of the work that we've been doing within here in CPS around supporting our undocumented students and parents within CPS. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. We would love to know who's here with us. So if you could utilize the chat, if you just kind of write your name, let us know what community you're from, perhaps the school that your child is currently attending, and more than anything, what information you hope to get out of this presentation. We want to make sure that you leave with any answers that you're looking for specifically with the topic that we're going to be talking about. So feel free to put those questions within your introductions. We want to make sure again that we address them and that we respond to them. And if we don't have the answer, we'll be sure to get those answers for you, and we'll follow up again to make sure that you get what you need from this presentation. So we're going to go ahead and get started while those introductions are coming in. We want to start off with kind of presenting this wonderful coalition of advocates for undocumented students' education, goes by the acronym of CAUSE. And this is a coalition that consists of current high school students within CPS. These are students that have been leading undocumented clubs in their schools. They've been around for 3 years. We just celebrated the 3rd-year anniversary back in last December. And it's because of this group of youth that a lot of the work that has been occurring since even before I've been here. So there's been a lot of individuals within CPS that have been, really assisting the youth and making sure that a lot of the work that had been lacking for many years is currently happening now. So it's very exciting times, and we're very excited to be serving this group of youth that once again are very involved. They organize everything. They meet twice a month on Saturdays. So they're dedicating time outside of the classroom and doing that. So it's very motivating and empowering to be really just listening to what the youth are saying as far as what do we need to do to better serve our undocumented students and parents. And so with that, the youth conducted a research within the students to highlight the top 10 recommendations. So with that, these are the 10 that were developed in addition to providing more training for the counselors, college and career coaches, teachers, anyone that is advising students in the school buildings to ensure that they are receiving this information to better advise the students. And so it's very exciting that the training has been occurring for the last 2 years. It's called the Chicago Undocumented Champion Credential, the CUCC. And it's a training that again has been developed with the great work of my colleague Miguel and with other individuals from partners and other community-based organizations that are coming together to share resources to our practitioners, right, that are out there providing the support to the families or the students as well. So the training is one. Additionally, also providing more one-on-one support to those students, in addition to providing an undocumented resource guide, which we'll have a chance to showcase a little bit. The youth also has developed a website of a resource guide, which has lots of resources from, mental health supports, information about tax information, and other legal, resources to ensure that, again, students and parents have access to this information. And with that, the existence of my role. So because of, these top 10 recommendations, this role is now, existent and is able to just focus on making sure that these recommendations are, taking place, and that we're making sure that we are accomplishing all the great work that, needs to happen to ensure that we're providing support. Once again, from student clubs, making sure that, the schools are being fully supported with that, as we know that the students are the ones organizing and, making sure that the clubs are successful and they're meeting and they're able to also provide the necessary support within each of the schools. Some of these we're still working on, but, again, we wanted to make sure that we started off with this, again, because of cause is the reasons why a lot of these initiatives and top 10 recommendations are in the works of, making sure that we're providing that support. This is just a highlight of all the partnerships that we have for the training, and in addition to providing additional support. So alongside with the department that Miguel and I are a part of, as the OSCAPA department, which is the Office of School Counseling and Post-Secondary Advising. We are also in collaboration with OLCE, the Office of Language and Cultural Education. So these are the two departments that have been really spearheading a lot of the partnerships that are being highlighted here for you, amongst many others. But again, these are just kind of like the main ones that we wanted to make sure that when you see the logos, these are logos of resources and organizations available to you to provide more support. In addition to that, one of our strongest partnerships is with the Chicago Law and Education Foundation, which stands for Clef. They have been really, just working really hard to ensure that we're providing the legal services to the schools. They have free clinics available in some of the high schools. There's a flyer located here. There's a QR code. If for folks that are not sure how QR codes work, you can use your cell phone and go to your camera, and you can go ahead and kind of check out those QR codes to be aware of these legal clinics that are free. We have a lawyer available to answer any clarifying questions that you may have. So this is just a great partnership available in some of the schools to be able to provide more advice. As we know that myself and Miguel were not lawyers, but again, we want to make sure that we can, that you have access to the experts to be able to provide that information to you. There is a lot of scholarships available. Illinois is probably one of the most friendliest states in the nation as far as providing support to our undocumented youth. Very excited to say that CPS does have a scholarship just for being able to provide additional financial aid for students. So as we know, there's different types of financial aid to be able to pay for college or university. So we know that scholarships is free money, right? It's money you don't have to pay back. And so with that, the CPS Dream Fund, has been a scholarship that has lived within CPS. We have a lot of individuals like Berenice and other folks that are part of a great team to fundraise. So we have, staff members that are taking time out of their additional responsibilities to continue to fund for, to assisting undocumented students. So if you see this flyer, know that this is a scholarship that's friendly to undocumented students. Students can apply their senior year. So if your student is in their final year of high school, they can apply. The scholarship is open And the deck will be available to you, and please know that you can click on the links of these titles here, and it'll take you directly to the application so that it's easier to locate. If you have any seniors that want to take a look at it, if they identify as undocumented, they can go ahead and apply. Definitely something to check out. Pretty soon, there will be an updated list of scholarships. We're currently waiting for more of them to open their applications to make this pager available to students. So making sure that you're encouraging your students to check their email so that they can have access to this. Later down the line, we'll share that CAUSE also has a website. We might have mentioned that earlier. So a lot of these resources are also available on that website. The flyer is also available in Spanish. También está disponible en español. So just making sure that, these resources are available in that language as well. And again, there's other scholarships available as well. There's the STAR Scholarship. So if students are interested in the city colleges of Chicago, whether it's Daly, Harold Washington, Arturo Velasquez, all of the 7 city colleges, STAR has been a really great opportunity for students to be able to pay for their entire cost of attendance into the college. So that's also something to be aware of. The Dream US, and then there's others as well that are available. The last thing is that CPS does have a scholarship manager email blast. There's a link here that if you click on it, it'll take you to a Google form. So if you want to sign up as a parent, or if you want to send it over to your student, you can sign up so you can receive email reminders of other scholarship opportunities that are available as well. So they're doing their part to making sure that these opportunities are also being highlighted within that email blast as well. We've also been very intentional about providing events to make sure that we're providing these resources to the families. Another great successful opportunity that's been available to families is the Scholarship and Financial Resource Fair. This is provided by the Network for Undocumented Scholarship Access, also known as NUSA. This event has been taking place already for 4 years. We actually hosted the last event last October. And, when the pandemic was occurring, we had a transition to virtual, but we were very excited to come back in person last year. And these are just some pictures of the last event that we had. We had, again, colleges and universities, from scholarship providers, we had our partners from ISEC that provide a lot of financial aid support from completing the FAFSA or completing the alternative application. It's a really great event, and we're very excited to be in the works of planning it again this year. So please save the date. We're currently at October 19th. That's the date that we have. There's also a Facebook page. So if you look up on Facebook, Network for Undocumented Scholarship Access, feel free to follow us. That way you can stay on track with a lot of the updates for the event and other resources available for that. So we're almost kind of near at the end. Again, we want to make sure that if there are any questions, we can answer them as well. And these are just some tips that we put together. As we know, there are many, but we wanted to make sure we kept it nice and short. So first things first is that if your student identifies as undocumented, please know that they do have access to college. They can definitely receive scholarships. A lot of the colleges and universities have scholarships within their campus that are open to undocumented students. So please know that those are available. They can also have access to the alternative application. If you're not sure what that is, the alternative application is an opportunity for undocumented students to have access to financial aid from the state of Illinois. So there's a link on there. There's like a video there that you can, definitely check out to know a little bit more about. But, just know that they have access to that. If a student perhaps identifies as a citizen, or they have, a green card, but maybe parents are undocumented, Once again, student has access to financial aid as well. So just making sure that, you're aware of that, again, the student does have access to those resources, and there are ways in how we can complete the process. And there's a lot of support through our partners like ISEC or Ladder Up that provide that. And in addition to your schools, you'll notice in the high schools, there's a lot of workshops and a lot of support available from the counselors and from, other adults in the building. Another thing is, if parents are undocumented and you haven't been filing your taxes, we highly encourage that you file your taxes. It's so important to do this process as soon as possible, as it'll make the process a lot easier for students as they're completing their financial aid. If you have concerns or questions about that, we can connect, we can have, further conversations, so that if you're a little uncertain about this process, just know that we can connect you with someone who's an expert and can really assist you with this process as well. If your student does not know that they are undocumented, we know these are very tough conversations to have, but we encourage that there is a conversation that could happen early on, just because oftentimes we've seen how students aren't aware that they are undocumented until their last year of high school. And so it's more of an opportunity to know early on, and that you can confide in individuals in your building, in the school building, to start planning early on that, we can really support the student to identify those scholarships, to identify what career they might be interested, that might be, available to them. So we want to encourage you that these conversations could happen as early as, middle school, and that we're here to facilitate some of those conversations if needed. And then last things is that there are many resources, as you can see, and it may be very challenging and very hard to find them, but it's not impossible, and you have individuals like ourselves to further assist if needed. We can have a one-on-one conversation if that's what you need, but please know that, the college experience is something that undocumented students do have access to, and there's a lot of opportunities out there that are available. As we mentioned earlier, there is the CAUSE website. This is available to the public, to the community. Here's a QR code if you want to go ahead and scan it using your cell phone. The link is on here as well. This is led by the youth. So again, they're the ones putting a lot of these resources. They're very active on the Facebook and Instagram page. So it's a great way for students and for parents to stay connected as far as what are some things that are available, what scholarships are currently open. And there's also their email. So if students want to reach out directly to, to the youth to ask any questions, they can do that. Or if they're interested in joining the CAUSE meetings, that's also open to the students to join in if they want to be in a space where there are other undocumented students and allies that are, gathering together to provide more sources. That's another space that they have access to as well. So again, we kept it pretty short. We can definitely open it up to questions, unless Miguel, if there is anything else that you wanted to add to the presentation.
Sorry, it took me a second to get off mute. Didn't want to click. No, muchas gracias, Sana. You did a great job. Como just to echo what she said, we're here to serve you and all your students and your children. So please let us know how we can support. As she said, it is hard to get in, but it's not impossible. We're here to help. So count on us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So Susanna, if you want to stop presenting so they can see us all and we can start having a conversation. So parents, again, as we're putting the presentation down, I encourage you to ask questions. One of the things that I'm going to do now that we stopped the presentation, said I am going to ask you to stop recording so that we can have conversations with parents. I know sometimes that's a concern. So we're going to stop recording now.